Comedian Rosie O'Donnell is known for saying some rather outlandish things, but when she started floating some conspiracy theories, she shocked and awed some viewers and critics alike. Rosie has been using her perch on The View to wonder aloud about whether 9/11 might have been an inside job and whether the standoff over those detained British sailors held in Iran might have been planned. Steve Adubato is our MSNBC media analyst, writes a weekly column on media issues for MSNBC.com. Look, at the very least, Steve, she's provocative.
You're being kind, Contessa. She is outrageous. She's off the reservation. She says the craziest things, and I always say she has a right to be idiotic on the air. What I ask of Rosie is that she just backs some of it up. The 9/11 conspiracy stuff is amazing. She talks about Building 7, World Trade Center number 7. She says, I don't understand how a building could have collapsed like that. She implies that the U.S. had something to do with it. All I say, Rosie, is you have a right to be outrageous. Back it up, and if you don't, your employers at ABC and Barbara Walters need to hold her accountable. They don't do it.
We see a lot of people, though, say outrageous things. Take a look at Ann Coulter. She's known for saying very provocative, outrageous things, and who cracks down on that? You just sort of let her do it.
Well, yeah, I'll tell you what. Ann Coulter writes a column, and a lot of newspapers dropped her when she said some of the things she said about the 9/11 widows. She said the really insensitive thing that the 9/11 widows, many of whom in New Jersey, my home state, were glad to have lost their husbands. Look at the celebrity. Look at the money they got. That's crazy. But you also notice that Ann Coulter doesn't have a daily show on a major network for a reason. Rosie, for whatever reason, gets away with it, and the numbers are pretty good over there.
You know, here she is as a comedian, and I remember seeing Margaret Cho at a black tie dinner a few years ago, and she started bashing the administration, and in the middle of this, it didn't have anything to do with journalism or anything like that. They cut her mic off, they brought the band back up on stage, and she was yanked right off the stage.
Just threw her right off.
Yeah, so a lot of times, they don't like comedians who cross those boundaries. Is Rosie crossing the boundaries?
She's crossing the boundaries, but if the numbers are right, and apparently, I mean, I want to get the numbers on this, that the View's numbers are down a little bit, but year to date, it looks like 600,000 up. The problem is Margaret Cho didn't have those numbers. She had a sitcom that didn't succeed. If it had, I'm not convinced they would have pulled that plug, because ratings are king or queen, if you will, in this business. And Rosie's figured it out, and her employers, for whatever reason, are letting her get away with it.
What about Bill O'Reilly bashing Rosie O'Donnell?
He does it. He does it consistently. I believe it's intellectually dishonest on his part, because he picks his targets. He doesn't go after Ann Coulter. In fact, he has her on the show. He doesn't go after Rush Limbaugh when Limbaugh makes fun of Michael J. Fox and makes fun of how he is as a Parkinson's patient. It's insane. It was horrible. I don't hear him criticizing. In fact, he has them on the show, and it's wrong. Be consistent when you're calling for people to be taken off the air.
Steve Adubato, great to talk to you.
Good to be with you.
Thanks. And no